Go.
You ready for the question?
Yeah.
Okay. This one is called ring buffer. Like arrays that you saw in C, a ring buffer is a non-growable buffer with a fixed size. In this case, however, that turns out to be the feature of the data structure. When the ring buffer is full and a new element is inserted, the oldest element in the ring buffer is overwritten with the newest element. This kind of data structure is very useful for use cases such as storing logs or history information, where you typically want to store data until it reaches a certain age, after which you don't care about it anymore and don't mind seeing it overwritten by newer data. Implement this behavior in the ring buffer class. Ring buffer has two methods, append and get. The append method adds elements to the buffer. The get method returns all the elements in the buffer ordered from oldest to newest. In other words, least recently added items first, then most recently added items. And then there's a for example, so I'll put a picture of it in our Slack conversation so you can reference.
All right, so start off by creating a function. Function.
Let me know if you need anything repeated.
Or here. That's ring buffer. Then, I'll start off with that. Ring buffer. Okay, and so it's going to have properties. Man. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it in JavaScript just because JavaScript's not actually my forte.
Why don't you just like start out with pseudocode or whatever and just like write out what you have to do?
Okay, sure. So need object ring buffer stack. Okay. Ring buffer has properties. Let's go with need a capacity, how many it can hold. The storage of the actual things in there. So this is a number. And this is an array. And then and that should just be it. So then append would check if check if capacity is filled is equal to if storage dot length of the array is greater than the capacity. No.
Double checking. The append method adds elements to the buffer. So
Yeah.
do with that what you will.
Yeah, so because it replaces older elements with newer ones. So this is saying that the the stack has a limit to what can be in there. So the oldest ones will be at the beginning and the newest ones will be at the end.
Right.
And so if the length of the array is greater than capacity, let me see, look at this code. Okay, I got it. So I'm also going to need a counter, which keeps track of which is the last item added in the array, which is it's going to be a number. So check if the length of the array is greater than capacity. If not, add number or add item to position of counter in array. Then increase counter. If the counter is greater than this, the size of the array, if it's greater than the amount, the counter leads to a position that is greater than what is capacity of the array, then I reset that counter to 0 to the beginning of the array, because now it's going to add to the beginning of it, replace the oldest one.
Mm-hmm.
Counter greater than the array. Counter equal to 0, which is the origin of the array. And that if it is longer, okay. And if the counter, if the length of the array is greater, let me make this more clear. Okay.
Oh no.
Now I can't touch it anymore. Gee.
Awesome.
Oh, there you go, I think. Yeah, good stuff.
Nice.
Here, let me start all over. Okay. So check if counter is greater than array in capacity. If not, add item to counter position in array. Then if true, or let's see, if false, if true, then change counter to 0 and add item to new position. I think that should be the gist of that logic. And then get is just return. Yeah, return the ring buffer capacity or storage.
Yeah, it wants you to return the array of elements.
Yeah, so that'll be it.
Yep.
So yeah, let me get storage. Okay. So then this is the pseudocode.
Is that like random like append in blue?
Yeah, I was trying to type it out, but I guess it didn't work. Okay. So this is my pseudocode. Let me write real code. So here. Those aren't too fun. Okay. So class ring buffer. And this will have an input of capacity. So then define man. I got the logic down, but I can't remember the syntax. So,
Yeah, I think that's like the tricky part of whiteboards because like you get tricked up by not having the auto fill in stuff.
yeah, right. In the challenges we have, they have it already framed workout for us and such. Okay. So
I think they said that you can code it in whatever language you prefer, but it's talking about C in the paragraph. So I guess it's kind of up to you if you want to code in something else.
yeah, that's what I realized. I think it's best done in
Yeah, just be aware like the model answer is actually in JavaScript.
for
Yeah. So if I haven't done Python or C, so I won't be able to like really know the differences in syntax between them to know if it's right or not.
okay. Well, I'll look at the solution myself afterwards, just to
Okay.
so self, and you're gonna be able to tell capacity. That's something that you'll decide, and let's give it a basic of this one, okay. And I'll set the capacity of the object to the capacity that you give it to. If you don't provide one, it'll just be at a standard 3, just so we can know what the code is doing. And then self.storage is an array. And self.counter, set that at 0. And so do append. I'm not sure if I can make this any bigger. All right, so then all right, so follow my thing. I don't know if I can make this much bigger, but can you see that still?
Yeah.
So this is gonna do if counter is greater than capacity. Then here I have to add something. set counter to equal self.counter to 0, and then self.storage counter equal to item.
Well, should it necessarily be greater than?
Which
Because
one?
if your counter is already greater than, you're already going over one more time, aren't you?
Well, if the counter is greater than the capacity,
Yeah.
so here I should actually put, hold on, +1, -1. Because if the counter is over the capacity, that means that the array has filled up past the capacity.
Yep.
So then it would go back. I would set it to 0 to go to the beginning and replace the oldest item in the stack.
Yep.
So I set it to 0, and then I set the position, which is going to be 0, to the item, and then after that I'm going to increase self.counter and I want to return. It doesn't seem like I need to return anything. Set, and then else self.storage counter equal item, and then self.counter plus. Put semicolons on everything. Okay. And then I think that's the append. And then the get just returns self.storage. And if we run that, I think it should work.
Most of that logic looks okay to me. The only little differences I see are in the append. So they kind of have it reversed as to the way that you've they're setting the they're doing the increment and setting the item first, and then if they're checking if it's at capacity,
Then I set it to 0.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
So, I mean,
you can certainly do it that way.
yeah, I think this way still works too. So, I mean, I think it's just a difference of how you would approach it or whatever. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Do you want to look at like the solution code real fast so that we can make sure that I'm not telling you the wrong thing?
Yeah, I'll look at it. I have it.
Oh, okay. I just linked it to you too.
Okay.
The logic looks good to me.
Oh wow, that looks a lot cleaner.
Yeah, JavaScript is kind of prettier than C.
Oh, no, I was writing it in Python.
Oh, all like the init stuff looks like C. I've taken like a quarter of a class of Python and like a quarter of a class of C.
Well, that should be more than enough to get you started.
Yeah, it's been like 3 years though, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it looks okay.
All right, then I'm gonna stop recording. All right.